One of the things I do with my couples is in part of teaching them how to fight fair. I start before fighting even breaks out. In other words, in a relationship, many times what destroys it is our need for perfection. Whether we're with this person for a long time or we just started dating them, what often happens is couples begin projecting onto each other. They see something and then they're like, okay, it's all your fault and you've done this and you've done this. And rather than loving them and serving them the way we're supposed to in a long-term marriage, we begin finding fault with them, judging them, picking on them. I'm one of those therapists that I think sometimes the less you say in a relationship, the better. And before I would ever really get involved in a big argument or a deep, deep discussion, I would ask myself, is this really worth it? Is this something that is going to make a big difference in a year from now? Or is it just that I'm in a bad mood, I need to get this off my chest? Because honestly, when we talk to the person we love most, or anybody, if our conversation is not positive, most of the time it's not going to end well. Nobody likes to be told everything that's going wrong with the relationship or something they're responsible for or something that's wrong with them. So your spouse is the same, and I don't care how long you've known each other, they are the same. They need the same encouragement, the same building up as anybody else in any relationship. So besides asking myself if this was really worth it, I have 6 other things that I reflect on before I ever bring them up, because the more you talk about a problem, the bigger it's going to get, and it's going to only get worse until it's resolved. And resolving them, some things are not possible, especially if it's something impulsive that just came up and you just felt like picking a fight. Okay, the first thing is give it time. Whatever you're going through right now, give it some space, give it time. Time heals wounds. When you keep digging at something or keep thinking about it, like venting about it, nagging about it, it's going to get worse and it's not going to get any better, and it's going to turn into a full-blown argument or fight, and I just don't think that's wise. I think maybe give it 24 hours or 48 hours. If it still bugs you, then it might be something worthwhile to bring up. Forgive. You know, are you expecting your partner to be perfect? Are all your marbles in this one basket? Do you have other friends you can talk to? Do you have other people in your life, other things in your life besides this one issue with your partner? When you can see your partner as a fallible person, just like you are, don't put them up on a pedestal to be the end all and be all of everything. They're your partner. You're 2 flawed people trying to progress forward in a relationship. Just learn that the important thing is that you don't see them in a bad light because of one incident or 2 incidences. We let each other down. That's part of life. It's part of love, and it's going to be part of every relationship that I've ever known about and probably will ever be in. Next, be introspective. You know, are you sure you did nothing to instigate the discord? Once you brought it up, did your behavior get angry? Did you get all of a sudden, just outraged? Sometimes our partner is dealing with something that we said or we did, and we don't want to claim any responsibility. We basically will say something like, well, that wasn't my fault, or I didn't know. Own that part. If you were trying to get out of something, if you didn't want to face a consequence, getting introspective and having this little time with yourself is really important. Communicate only feeling. When you are thinking of talking with your partner about something you don't like, and keep it minimal, but the best way to do it is, I feel, ABC, and then this is what I felt you did. And then name what you feel they did, how it affected you. It made me feel worthless or sad or, rejected or whatever it was. Don't blame and don't project Anything else, any expectation you have about your partner belongs to you. It's not your partner's. Expectations are something we manifest inside ourselves. We give them to our partner, but they don't belong to our partner. They belong to us. When I say communicate only feelings, I mean only the feeling and keep it short. Avoid arguing till the bitter end. A lot of people have this idea, well, we're going to get to the bottom of this. That's a very bad idea. You don't get to the bottom of most things. You claw until you end the relationship, or the relationship is so wounded that it can't get back up. What you want to do is know when. I usually tell my clients 5 minutes. If you've been arguing about something 5 minutes or going back and forth with it, that's enough time for one person to clearly see what they did. And if at that point they don't want to step up or they don't want to make amends, and it's important you drop it. Sometimes when you keep going back and forth, you are working against yourself and the relationship and the problem. It's much better to have a 5-minute timer, and after that time say, you know what, we'll have to come back to it. I'm sure tomorrow or later today we'll be in a much better place. And when you keep it optimistic like that, there's a lot better chance you and your partner are going to work it out together. Let it go. What isn't solved sometimes is meant to let go, because time has this weird thing with us. It usually will help us work things out in our mind. During that time, we can pray. We can pray for insight. As time goes on, we gather insight. Other incidences help us to kind of see both sides of the situation. We gain a better perspective when we're further away from it. And you can lovingly go back to your partner then. And you can either say, hey, I need to apologize. Or maybe your partner will be the one that comes back to you and says, hey, I need to apologize. I messed up this and I'm really sorry. Whoever it is, the person that extends themselves, the other person really, really must work on forgiveness. Because in a relationship, if you don't have forgiveness, you don't have a relationship very long. And lastly, prioritize us. Make sure your relationship is us-centered. And by that I mean the relationship is the priority. The two of you are in this with whatever faith you are. You're taking this together. You are the top. The children come be underneath that. But what's most important is you don't let other things get in the way of the relationship. The relationship is the biggest. It's the co-creation of both of you. Neither one of you should ever have the power that the total relationship has. And that is the best advice I can give you for really working on situations so they don't turn into big fights, big arguments. More than anything, it's going to turn into a self-reflection of yourself, because remember, all relationships begin with the one we have with ourselves. And in any matter that includes the relationship, it's important you do your own checklist first. If this video is helpful to you, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, I thank you so much.